Hello students, I am Mr. Rohan Chokle and today we are here to study how stack is used in quicksort. As in previous lecture, we have studied the basic concept of the quicksort. What is sorting technique, and how this quicksort is executed. So here, just we'll take a quick review. So it will be easy to understand the how stack is used in this quicksort. So let's start that how quicksort is executed. I will explain the same in short. So as in previous lecture, as first of all, sorting, it is nothing but it is the operation of arranging the elements so that they are in some logical order. So that they will get in some logical order. So if numbers are there, then we are going to arrange that numbers in numerical order. If characters are there, then we are going to arrange that in alphabetical order. So here we are having one list having 12 elements. So total 12 elements are there, just consider. So this is the first element. As in previous case, what we have done, we have compared this first element with the elements from right to left we have compared. And while comparing, when we get the smallest number as compared to 44, we just interchange their values. So here we compare first 44 with the 66. 66 is greater than 44, so we are not going to swap them. We'll move towards the next. Again 88 is greater than 44, so again we are not going to swap them. But here 22 is less than 44. So as I said, when we get the small number than 44, we just swap them. So here in this case, here we have swapped 44 with 22. So in the next list, if we check, we have swapped 44 and 22. So after that, what we are going to do, again we are going to compare the same 44 from with the elements from left to right. And in this case, when we get this greater number than 44, what we are going to swap these values. So here again we are going to compare 44 with the 22, 33, 11. So all these three elements are less than 44, so we are not going to swap with anyone. So after 11, we compare 44 with 55. As 55 is greater than 44, we are going to swap these two values. So after swapping, what we get 44 over here and we get 55 over here. So again same process we are going to repeat. Again we are comparing from right to left. So we are comparing from right to left, and when we comparing from right to left, we compare each element with 44, and once we get the number less than 44, we swap that number with 44. So as in previous case, we have already compared 88 and 66 with 44. So here we have already compared 88 and 66 with 44. So again in this case we are not going to compare the same again. We are just starting comparison with from 55 onwards. So we are going to compare 44 with 55. Then we are going to compare 44 with 99, as both number are greater than 44. So we are not going to swap them. Then we compare 44 with 60. Again 60 is greater than 44. Again we are not going to swap. Then we'll compare with the 44 with 40. So here as 40 is less than 44, so we are going to swap 44 and 40. So after swapping, 40 will come over here. So 40 will come over here, and 44 will come over here. Again, the same process we are going to repeat. We are comparing elements from left to right. So as in previous step we have already compared, here in this step we have compared 44 with 22, 33 and 11. So we are not going to compare again. So now in this case we are going to start comparison from 40 onwards. Right. So here we compare 44 with 40. As 40 is less than 44, we are not going to swap them. Here while comparing from left to right, once we get the number greater than 44, we just swap them. So after 40, we are having 77, which is greater than 44. So we'll just swap 44 and 77. So after swapping, 44 will come over here and 77 will move over here. And after that, again same. In previous step we have compared from left to right. Now we are going to compare from right to left. So again in previous step, in this step we have already compared 66, 88, 55, 99 and 60 with 44. So no need to compare the same again. So here we are going to compare the elements from 77 onwards, and once we get the number less than 44, we are going to swap that number. So here we are going to compare 44 with 77, which is greater than 44, so we are not going to swap. Then we'll compare 44 with 90, then again 90 is greater than 44, so we are not going to swap that. Then we have the same number 44, so there is no need to compare 44 with the 44, so we'll stop here. So after stopping of execution, what we get the position, final position of 44. So this is the final position of 44 after sorting the elements. So at the end of this, what we get the two sublist. This is a sublist 1 and this is a sublist 2. Okay, so till this we have studied in the previous lecture. So this is a sublist 1. So this is a sublist 1 and sublist 2. The elements in sublist 1 are less than 44 and elements in sublist 2 are greater than 44. So, and this is the final position of 44 after sorting the elements. So after execution of this, we get that 44 is placed correctly in its final position, and now we have reduced the task of sorting the original list, and we have reduced that task by dividing the original list into two sublists. As Quicksort is based on divide and conquer rule, so here we have divided main list into two sublists. Now we have to repeat the same reduction step for each sublist which contain two or more elements. So this reduction step again we have to repeat for this sublist. Okay, but the condition is that sublist contain minimum two or more elements. Okay, so as we know that we can only process one sublist at a time. So what we have to do, we have to keep the track of other sublist for further processing. Okay, at a time we can only process one sublist. So what we have to do, we have to keep the track of other sublist. So to accomplish this task, what we have to do, we have to use these stacks. Okay, so we are going to use the two stacks. First stack is called as lower and second stack is called as upper. Okay, so this is a first stack. Okay, and this one is second stack by the name upper. Okay, these two stacks are used to temporarily hold. Okay, remember these two stacks are used to temporarily hold the sublist boundaries. Okay, so what is use of these two stacks? These two stacks, this is a lower stack and this one is upper stack. These two stacks are used to temporarily hold the boundaries of the sublist. That is, it hold the address of first and last element of each sublist called as boundary values. So what it hold? It hold the address of first and last element of each sublist, and these values are called as boundary values. So we are going to push these boundary values on lower and upper stack. So lower boundary value we are going to push it onto lower stack, and upper boundary value we are going to push it onto upper stack. So just consider the same example so you will understand how we are going to use this. So as of now, how many elements are there in this first list? So total 1, 2, 3, So total initially we had initially we are having 12 elements in sublist 1. So when we execute the algorithm, so in that case what we have to do, we have to push the boundary values of this list. So boundary value is from 1 to 12, so 1 and 2. So lower boundary value is 1 and upper boundary value is 2. So what we have to do at the first step, we have to push these boundary values into the sublist. So I will push the lower boundary value in the lower stack and upper boundary value onto the upper stack. So this is the lower and upper boundary of this list. Right, what next we have to do? So after pushing the lower and upper boundary value, now we have to apply the reduction step. These are the reduction steps we have already studied in previous lecture also and in this lecture also. So now after pushing the values onto stack, we have to apply the reduction steps. And to apply the reduction step, we have to take the boundary values. So now before applying, we have to remove the boundary values. So we are going to remove the boundary values and we are going to apply the reduction step from element which is placed at position 1 to 12. Okay, so here as I said, we are going to remove the boundary values, and as we know, first element is at first place, first to 12. So we are going to apply the reduction step from the element which is placed at first location to 12th location, that we have already studied in this lecture. So after execution of the reduction step, what we got? We got the two sublist. Okay, so this is a sublist 1 and this is a sublist 2. So as I said, again we have to apply the same process on these two sublists. So before applying the reduction step, first what we have to do, we have to push the boundary values onto stack. So here we are having the two sublists. After execution of all the steps, we got the two sublists. So this is the first sublist having boundary value 1, 2, 3, 4. So the boundary value of first is, lower boundary value is 1 and upper boundary value is 4. Then on the fifth place we are having 44. Then 6th, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. And what is the boundary value of second sublist? It is 6 and 12. So we are going to push these boundary values onto stack. So I will push the boundary value of first sublist, that is I will push 1 and 4. Okay, so 1 is the lower boundary value of first sublist and 4 is the upper boundary value of first sublist. I have pushed that onto the stacks. After that I have to push this lower and upper boundary value of second sublist. So I will push this 6 onto the lower stack and I will push this 12 onto the upper stack. Okay, so now we have these upper and lower boundary values onto the stack. So what next step we have to do? Again we have to repeat the same process. We have to pop the upper and lower boundaries. So I will pop lower boundary as 6 and upper boundary as 12. So we got the list having lower boundary 6 and upper boundary 12. So that is, we have this sublist. And now what we have to do? Again we have to apply the same reduction steps on this sublist. Again we get the final position of 90 after execution of these reduction steps on the sublist 2. Then again what we get? Again we get the two sublist. Again we are going to push the same onto the stack. Again we'll pop the lower and upper boundaries from the stack, and again same process will go on repeating. Right, I hope you understand this. So just after, as I said, we have to push this 6 and 12. So after pushing this 6 and 12, what sublist we get? That I will directly write the final final position of the 90. That is, we get the sublist after applying the reduction step on this sublist. What we get final list we get is, I'm not showing the steps again. I will directly show the final list after applying the sublist. Sorry, after applying the reduction step on the sublist 2. So what we get, that is 66. I think 66. Then we'll get 77. Then we get 60. Then 88. Then 55. Then 90. And then we get 99. So this is at the 6th, 7th location, 8. So after execution of the reduction steps on this sublist 2, finally we get 90th, we get the position of 90. Then again we have the two sublist. This is a sublist 1 and this is a sublist 2. Right. So again what we have to do, we have to push the values on the stack. So in the previous step, as we have removed 6 and 12, so 6 and 12 will not be available over here. Only 1 and 4 will be there. Alright. So after execution of this, what we have? We are having the second sublist having boundary value 6 and 10. So just we are going to push the same again, 6 and 10. So I will push 6 and 12 over 6 and 10 over here. Right. So again we have the second boundary value. So as only one element is available in the second sublist, so we are not going to push the boundary values in this list. So this is a fixed position of this 99. So after execution of this, we have only one sublist having boundary value 6 and 10 that we have already pushed onto the stack. So now we are having two values in each stack. In lower we are having lower boundary, that is 1 and 6, and upper we are having 4 and 12, 4 and 10. So again what we have to do, again we have to repeat the same process. Again we are going to remove the we are going to pop the values from lower and upper. So after popping, we are going to pop this 6 and 10. So we are going to remove this 6 and 10. That is, we have to apply the reduction step on this sublist, and same process we are going to repeat. So in this way we have used the stacks for reduction, for sorry not reduction, in this way we have used the stack for quick sort. So I think you have understood the concept. So simple thing is that what we have to do, first we have to take the boundary values of list, we have to push it onto the stack, okay, upper and lower stack. Then we have to pop that values. Then after popping the boundary values, we have to apply the reduction steps. So this reduction step we have applied. So we have applied the reduction steps. After application of reduction step, we get the final position of one of the element. So after getting the final position of one of the element, what we get? We get the two sublist. And again what we have to do, we have to push the boundary values of these two sublist onto the stack. So here we have pushed 1 and 4, then we have pushed 6 and 12. So after that we have to pop the values. So we have popped 6 and 12, that is this sublist, and again we have applied. Again what we have done, again we have applied the same reduction step on this sublist. After applying the reduction step on this sublist, final sublist we got is 60. This sublist final we got. Okay, so in that sublist again we got the sublist having boundary 6 and 10 and 12. So again we have pushed this 6 and 10 onto the stack. So 6 is pushed in as a lower boundary, 10 is pushed as a upper boundary. So as in the second sublist only one element is there, so we are not going to push this onto the stack. So again we have popped these two values 6 and 10 from the upper and lower, that is we have concentrated on this sublist. Again we have applied the same reduction step, and again same process we have repeated. So this is a simple use of stack in quicksort. So remember, lower and upper are the two stacks which are used to temporarily hold the boundaries of list or sublist. So lower hold the lower boundary, upper hold the upper boundary of list or sublist. Okay, so we'll stop over here, and in the next lecture we'll study the same with the help of algorithms. Thank you.